All right, it is time. Welcome everyone to today's VOMO training webinar about enhancing project management. If you don't know what a VOMO project is, you will definitely want to go check out our creating and promoting projects webinar. That is the basically part one to this webinar. Today we're going to dive in a little more details about managing your project, sending out updates, all kinds of fun stuff related to projects. So if you already know how to create a project and you already know how to promote your project, then today is just for you. I'm your host today and presenter, Matt Bailey. I'll be your launch expert, your VOMO expert, that is, to talk about the training piece of the platform. Paige is going to be our expert in the chat room today. So if you have not used Zoom before, there is a chat button where you can click on that chat and you will be able to ask any questions you want about what we're talking about today. Paige will help you out. And if there's something that we're not able to help you with, we will steer you in the right direction. We want to help you as best as we possibly can. So today, all about enhancing project management. All right, so let's jump in and see what we got going on today. So here's what we'll specifically be covering. All right. So the first piece is going to be utilizing the advanced options. If you've created a project before, you have the details, you have the needs that you fill in, the dates and times. There is an extensive advanced options section with all kinds of really cool customizable tools that you can use for your projects. We're going to dive through each one of those. All right. Secondly, we'll talk about how you can send out project updates, what notifications are sent, reminders, all those kinds of fun communication things related to projects. And then finally, managing the project dashboard itself. So this will be the part about managing the time slots, moving volunteers around, those kinds of things. All right, so let's do a quick poll. We got a question for everyone today. Today's question, you should see it right there on your screen. The question is, how can projects improve volunteer management for you? How can projects improve volunteer management for you? All right. So, uh, with projects, there's all kinds of settings, there's all kinds of tools that you need to make the project work well for you. So, is it privacy and approval settings, vetting your volunteers? Is it collecting additional data from volunteers? Website links, attachments, documents, all those kinds of fun things that volunteers need to complete, having full control over the participations, right? So those schedules, moving volunteers around. Or is it diversify the types of opportunities, right? So you have date and time opportunities. You also have donation items. You also have virtual events. You also have interest forums. You also have all kinds of other fun stuff. What does it look like for you? All right, thank you for your responses. Looks like it's a pretty even mix today, but it looks like we'll be focusing especially on the privacy and approval settings, additional data from volunteers. So we'll definitely make sure and cover all of these uh, different tools and responses for you guys today. All right, so let's jump in to the actual platform itself, right? So I want to scroll my screen over here. So you should be able to see Springfield Serving Org. This is our famous Springfield Serving Org. This is a fake organization that we use for all of these trainings and whatnot. So there's a lot of great stuff happening at Springfield Serving Org. So we are going to jump into a project and start by looking at the advanced options. So normally I would take you over to projects right here. And in the top right corner, I would talk about creating a new project. We're not going to create a new project today. We're going to edit an older project and look into the advanced options. So we're going to take advantage, we're going to take a look at this food pantry project that has had a lot going on the last couple of years. This has been an ongoing, recurring project with a lot of volunteers, a lot of things happening. So there's going to be a lot of great stuff in those advanced options to take a look at to help you out. So whether you're creating a new project, or editing an old project, either way, you'll be able to take a look at the advanced options. So I'm going to click edit here next to the food pantry project. I'm an admin with this account, which means I'm able to edit and create any projects I want. If you're an organizer and you're looking at your active project list and you don't see edit buttons, that means you don't have access to those projects. Okay. So click new project and you'll be able to take a look at the advanced options we're about to look at. All right, so we're clearly editing a previous project, not creating a new project, but the same basic rules apply. I have my details. I have all my needs. In this case, those are time slots. Okay. And then with those details, all the typical things that we've already talked about in the previous training, scroll down and you will see show advanced options. So when you click show advanced options, quite a bit of tools and settings will appear. Every single one of these has a very important specific purpose that you will definitely want to take advantage of. And we're going to walk through these one step at a time. All right. So the first advanced option is check-in. This coincides directly with our brand new check-in feature, check-in kiosk feature, right? So if you've been with Vomo for a while, you will know that the Vomo app has ability for volunteers to check themselves in when they show up. They have automated reminders that pop up on their phone that will tell them when they show up at the time of the project to check in through their app. It's awesome. It's easy. You, as an admin or an owner of this project, will be able to check volunteers in through the app as well. But we wanted to take it the next step. So we built a check in kiosk feature that allows you to launch a kiosk screen, a kiosk portal, onto maybe an iPad or a desktop computer or a laptop or something like that at a physical check-in location on site at your event or on site at your facility itself. Okay, so this is a really handy feature. We have a webinar training devoted to this check-in kiosk specifically. But essentially what you're looking at here are settings related to the check-in kiosk for this specific project. More details will be found in that training you can find at support.vomo.org. All right, now let's move on. Project ownership. Looks like Sebastian is the owner of this project at the moment, but I'm also a fellow admin with Sebastian here at Springfield Serving Org. So that's why I am able to edit this project anyways. But as an admin or the one creating this new project, if that's the case for you, I can assign multiple owners. So if I wanted James Doe and Camilla as well to also be owners of this project, I can do that. Sebastian's still the primary owner who's editing and managing this project, but James and Camilla have the ability to also receive notifications when new volunteers join or leave the project, which is really helpful. James and Camilla are going to be helping Sebastian to manage this project. Anyone that is given project ownership is able to edit the project. So just be careful, admins, who you give ownership of a project to. Know that they will be able to edit and manage the project. Okay. All right. So I can move things around. I can say, you know what, Camilla is going to be a project owner as well, but she doesn't need to have notifications sent to her because she's just there to jump in if she needs to. Um, that's really up to you, but you can have as many owners in a project as you want. All right, I'm going to move this back down to just Sebastian so he can manage it by himself. Point person. This is totally separate from the project owner. Why is that? Well, in a lot of cases, if your organization is large enough, you might have somebody on staff, a paid staff member that is managing the project or owning the project, like Sebastian. But Sebastian might have Jane Smith that is the point person on location that is actually there talking to the volunteers when they show up. Sebastian's more of a managerial role. Okay, so some of you may be in a management type position, and Jane or somebody below you in the hierarchy might be the one that's actually the point person volunteers talk to, right? So then they have their own phone number. Maybe if it's an office line, whatever that phone number might be, and then they have an email um, that they can respond to. Okay, so this point person contact info is going to be what the volunteers will want to use this info if they have questions at any point through the platform. All right, Sebastian's the one owning that. Sebastian may say, you know what, it's not Jane, it's me. So Sebastian can put his own contact info there. That's really up to him. Okay, privacy. Um, this organization defaults to private as the visibility for this project. So privacy is all related to visibility. When a project is private, it's only going to be visible for people here in Springfield Serving Org to join. So privacy means visibility, okay? Private means that only volunteers that are already in your Vomo platform will be able to see and sign up for this project, okay? Public is accessible by any Vomo user in the entire network. So your account is actually part of a volunteer network, the Vomo volunteer network. So if you make a project public, anybody that has a user profile that has the volunteer within the entire platform, even outside of your organization, will be able to see and access this project, right? So if this is an opportunity, a project that you are wanting to push out publicly for anybody to join, you will definitely want to consider making it public, all right? It's visible to anybody, even outside of your organization. If you have a super secret hidden project that's only for a specific group, like a local organization or business or church that might be coming and serving at your organization, you might want to consider making it unlisted. Unlisted means that the public cannot see it, your own people cannot see it. You are going to share the URL address for this project specifically to the volunteers you want to send it to. Okay, so public, private, unlisted. All right, now we jump into some approval settings. Now, these approval settings are related to vetting your volunteers. All right. If I did not check any of these approval boxes, here's what is going to happen. If I did not select any of these, the Vomo project system here will automatically approve a volunteer when they join. They will, the Vomo system will assume that you are not needing any kind of background checks, and it will automatically give them their volunteer hours the moment the project is over with, whether they checked in or not. All right. So the Vomo system, the Vomo project is designed by default to assume the positive. All right. We're positive people, right? Paige and I, we love you guys. We love volunteers. We want to assume the positive, right? So we're assuming if you do not check any of these boxes, volunteers are automatically approved to sign when they sign up, and they're automatically going to be given their volunteer hours when the project is over with. If you want to put in a roadblock of some kind in the way to make sure that a volunteer is approved correctly, has a background check, and are verified that they actually showed up to serve, you want to check these boxes. Okay, so let's walk through that. We'll start off with this. Participant approval. This is a generic approval setting. It's not specific to your training. It's not specific to a background check. It's simply a way for a volunteer to, quote, apply to serve at this opportunity. Okay. When you check this box, volunteers are sent a message on the screen that says, wait just a second, you are applying to serve at this project pending the approval of the owner of this project. Okay. Then Sebastian would go in and have to approve the volunteer to serve. And I'll show you how to do that. If you want that approval language to the volunteer to be focused specifically on background checks that are required, you're going to want to select this box. This option does not turn on an integration that we have built into the platform that will automatically somehow send a background check. That's not what this is for. This is simply a roadblock that says, hold on a second, volunteer, you're applying to serve at a project that requires a background check. Sebastian would then go to that volunteer's profile to see if they have an approved background check on file. If they do, then he would give them a thumbs up, a green check mark that they can serve. If not, he would then need to follow up with that volunteer with the appropriate steps to get a background check on file that's cleared. Okay, so these is simply roadblocks, a way to vet the volunteers before they're officially, quote, approved. After the project is over, if you do not want the volunteers to automatically get their hours in their resume and to show up in your analytics because you want to verify that they were actually there, you'll want to check this box. All right. When you check this box, all completed volunteer hours will need to be, again, approved before they're added to the volunteer resume. So Sebastian would then have to go into the time slot and verify that all the volunteers that are on the list actually showed up. Okay. Some people utilize the check-in tool to do that. Others are physically there and watching the volunteers come in, and they know they have their own separate list they use, whatever it might be. This verification feature prevents those hours from automatically going to the analytics and the resumes unless Sebastian goes in and verifies that they were actually there. All right, so that's how these tools work. All right, now let's move on. Guest options. You can specify volunteers to allow to bring guests, and if you say yes, they're going to be asked how many they're going to bring. Minimum age requirements, so you can establish a minimum age. Need to know next steps. This is for customizing the confirmation and reminder emails. So here in the platform, when a volunteer joins a project, they're automatically sent a confirmation email stating what they're signing up for, the time slot, the role, all the details. If you want to customize additional information that is sent in that email, you'll want to put it in this box. This box right here is included in those confirmation and reminder emails. It also shows up on the project page when volunteers join. Forms. We have our own built-in forms feature, right? So if you've been using Google Forms, paper forms, all those kinds of things, get rid of them. You can use our forms feature. We have an entire training devoted to building a form. This is where you attach that form here to the project. But we also give you ability to add your own attachments and website links. So even if you're using a form, Vomo Forms, you still can drop in additional attachments. You can still drop in website links here and here. And then finally, project sponsors. This is great for you nonprofit organizations that have sponsors, business sponsors, corporate sponsors, individuals. You want to give them a little bit of press time, so to speak. You can add in their name, their website link, a logo, just to give them a little visibility when volunteers join that this project was sponsored by XYZ organization, business, whoever it might be. All right. So that is all of the advanced options for your project. Okay. Again, refer back to part 1 of this, which is creating and promoting projects, to learn all about creating your first project. And then this is the advanced options portion of that. All right. So now let's go back here to the project dashboard and talk about managing the project dashboard. So we are back here on the active projects list. Instead of clicking edit, to access the dashboard, I'm going to click the title, food pantry. When I click on that title, it's going to refresh the page and pull up the dashboard specifically for this project. All right. We like dashboards here in the Vomo platform. If you haven't noticed, you have your primary admin dashboard when you first log in. Every project has its own dashboard, campaigns, people, groups, for everything has a dashboard. Okay. This is the food pantry project dashboard. All right. So there's a couple of things I'm looking at here. I can visit the project page to see what the volunteer sees. Okay. So this is what it looks like from the volunteer's perspective. Here's those links that we had. Here's all the time slots that they can sign up for, details and requirements, so on and so forth. All right, and let's go back to the admin side. Here are all the time slots. Now, there's a couple of things you can take note of. We'll just start at the top and work our way down. Here in the top right corner, there's another edit button. So if I happen to be on the project dashboard and I want to make an edit, I can simply click edit project. I can also make a copy. I love, love, love this feature, okay? We don't have a quote template system in the platform, right? So there's no section where you can save a template like in Microsoft Word or other, programs like that where there's a totally separate template system. We don't do that. We make it easier actually. Every single project that is active, draft, past, doesn't matter where the project is, you can go to that project's dashboard and make a copy. So easy. So you can then say, I want to make a copy of this food pantry project. The new copy is going to have a different title. I want to copy all the info. Maybe I want to keep all the dates. Maybe you don't want to keep the dates and you want to create brand new dates for this new project, and then you can make a copy of it. Really, really simple and easy to do. As you scroll down, you will come to the volunteer section where you're going to have all of the time slots and all of the volunteers that have joined. A couple of things to note is that when you were looking at this section here, the time slots are going to sort from today, 6 weeks in the past, 6 weeks forward, right? So 6 weeks ago was Friday, January 8th. If I wanted to hide those past time slots, I can do a couple of things. I can click hide past time slots, and it will start with today's date. Or I can uncheck that box and then sort the dates here. So I can look at this entire year if I wanted to. The page is going to refresh. There's a lot of dates and times for this project, so we might have to give it a second. So it looks like this project started this year on January 8th, and I can look and see all the time slots going as far out into the future, all the way out as far out as they go. Okay, so there's some date sorting there. All right, export. At any point, you can export all of the data, specific dates, everything, different ways you want to export it into a spreadsheet because you like spreadsheets and you want to do some of your own data sorting and math and whatever else you want to do in algorithms in a spreadsheet. Go for it. You have an export button you can use right there. Now let's look at managing a specific time slot. So we're going to start with a time slot in the past, and then we will look at a time slot in the future. Okay, so this is an example of a past time slot. Look at this one here, where there were 20 total needs. And if I hover my mouse there, you will see that 10 of those needs have been filled. There's 10 open volunteer roles, volunteer spots, and there's still 5 water bottles that were needed for that time slot. So this one didn't quite get filled all the way. So we'll take a look here at this specific time slot. So when I click on that time slot, it's going to slide over and show me that 5 volunteers signed up for this 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. slot on January 8th. There were 20 total spots. Some were volunteer roles, some were bringing water bottles. So it looks like nobody brought any items to this project, which is kind of sad. But we had 5 volunteers attend, or at least sign up for the 1 to 4 o'clock time slot. All right. It also looked like they were all slackers and none of them actually checked in or checked out. Okay. So that's unfortunate. But I happen to know. I happen to know because I talked to Sebastian, who's managing this project, and he said, well, everybody was there. James is the only one that didn't show up. Okay, so here's what we can do. If everybody had showed up to that project and you wanted to verify all of them, I can simply click verify all. Very simple, very easy. It's going to verify everybody all at once. I can also come over here and click verified, 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 and I'm going to leave that one pending because he didn't show up. Now here's where you have some choices. You verified these 4. They'll get notified that they have been verified for this project. They're going to get their hours. So you now have 12 volunteer hours that will show up in your analytics. They each will get 3 hours. James does not because you did not verify him. Then you can make some choices. You can say, well, I don't really need to know that James didn't show up, so I can delete him. So I can click the trash can and I can remove him altogether. Maybe you want a record that he showed up and didn't attend, or maybe that he signed up but didn't show up. You can leave him on there. That's really up to you. You'll notice that all these different blue areas is where you can edit their details. So I can say Joel did bring a guest. I can add a check-in and check-out time if I want to. I can even edit his total hours. So say I knew that Joel stayed an extra 30 minutes. I can add in that half hour and save that. You have full control over the time slots. You can also add volunteers to past time slots. How cool is that? All right, so I'm done with that one. Now let's go to a future time slot. So I'm going to click hide past dates. The page will refresh and now I will see that today's current date, let's look at this afternoon time slot coming up here at 1 o'clock. So I can click on that. Oh, that's sad. Nobody signed up yet. Okay. I happen to know that a few people are going to be there. They just wanted me to add them to the list. Okay. Because they're not in a place for whatever reason to sign themselves up, but I can add them. I can simply click add volunteer. They are going to be, one of them is going to be volunteer lead. This is the lead volunteer role. And James has already told me that he is going to be that lead volunteer. And then I'm going to add an additional person so far to be a regular volunteer. That one was Camilla. All right. So Camilla is a volunteer and I have assigned them. You'll see that it has a record of me assigning them as the lead volunteer and the regular volunteer for this 1 to 4 time slot. So some cool things that you can do. Now, if a volunteer happened to sign themselves up and you had the approval settings activated and you were ready to approve them or deny them, over here, you will see these buttons to choose from. Now, it doesn't make sense for me to approve or deny James or Camilla because I assigned them myself. So I already know that they are approved. But let's just assume that Camilla or James here had joined by himself and you needed to approve or deny him. You would simply click approve or click deny. When you click either one of these buttons, they'll get a notification email that says, hey, you've been approved or you've been denied. All right. So that is some of the basics of managing those time slots. Okay. One thing to note, if you ever came back in and edited a project and edited any of the dates and times related to this project with volunteers that have already signed up, just know that they are going to be notified that you have made changes to their time slots. Okay. So just be forewarned, any edits you make to a live active project with active volunteers on it, they will be notified by the Vomo system of any changes that you have made. All right, for the sake of time here, let's move on. Okay, I want to scroll down past all of these time slots. There are a lot of time slots in this project. Down here, you will see an updates section and a forms summary section. This is really exciting. This update feature allows you to send out instant notifications via email and push notification to the app on their phone. These are not SMS messages to their phone, cell phone number. These are push notifications within the Vomo system to the app logged in on their phone and email as well. So you can simply click add update, type out your message. In this case, it might be a thank you. Thank you for serving today. We appreciate it very much. Sign up again in the near future. All right, so we have a message. I can send that message right now to everybody really easily via email and push notification to the app on their phone. I can also schedule it. I love this. So you can schedule it to go out at a specific time. So say you wanted it to go out on Friday, the 19th at, doing too many things here, at 1:27 in the afternoon to everyone, only upcoming time slots, future time slots, or specific dates. Okay, so I can select, so this has a lot of dates here. So let's find, here we go, February 19th, this one right here. So this is tomorrow's 9 a.m. time slot. So here's what I'm doing here. See if you can track with me. Thank you for serving. It's going to go out tomorrow afternoon at 1:27 for only those that are in the 9 a.m. time slot. That is highly specific, right? Those are the options. You can choose to utilize those options. You can send it really quickly, send it now, and then I can say, okay. And now I have scheduled this message, this update to go out tomorrow afternoon only for that one time slot. All of these updates will show up on the project page for the volunteers here. They're also going to show up in their notifications. They'll also show up on the app on their phone. They'll also get an email. So we believe in communication. When these updates go out, they are sent out and located in multiple different places. You can go back and edit updates at any time. You can delete your updates at any time as well. All right. One final thing, and then we'll wrap up. If you have a form attached to your project, this is going to be a summary and a record of all the volunteers and their submissions of that form. Okay, so you can check out that really quickly. So I can look at Kiki's response to the form right here. This came on February 12th, earlier this week. Though this form asks about allergies, reason for serving, serving preferences, and it has a liability waiver that she agreed to. You can learn all about forms and how to build and launch a form and attach it to a project in our forms training video. So you can take a look at it there. But this is her response. You can also see all the details about that form in the form dashboard. Again, refer to that forms training video to learn all about forms, but you can at least see it based on this project here. All right. So that is diving in and enhancing project management. Project management. Okay. So what we really talked about today was you already know how to create a project. You already know how to do all that. We dove into the advanced options. We dove into managing the project dashboard and the time slots. And then we talked all about how to utilize this updates feature. So again, thank you for being a part of the training today. So just to kind of wrap things up, if you have any questions at any point about doing anything we just talked about, you can always reach out to Paige and I, of course, if you already connected with us as a Vomo partner. But we also have our support page. Please, please, please utilize support.vomo.org. Training videos, articles, all kinds of how-to stuff, navigating the nitty-gritty settings of the platform. And then finally, thank you for attending. Please sign up for future webinars at vomo.org/webinars. We would love to see you at future webinars that we have coming up. Info webinars, training webinars, update webinars. There's all kinds of fun stuff happening in the webinar world of Vomo. We would love to see you there. Thank you so much for being a part of our training today. See you next time.